Alright, getting ready for my 25k home-based run here in Naarm. It is a bit cold and wet this morning. Yeah, not sure what I'm feeling at the moment. It's kind of all weird and having to schedule an event while also running it just beforehand, but looking forward to getting to celebrate it with those that do join me today. Wishing all the IMP mob best of luck on their runs today, tomorrow and next week even. Just over halfway there, feeling strong. I had a bit of a nasty situation last one of the gels that I had, but finishing stronger. Back into it now. $20K's in, home stretch, park run to go, home stretch, 100 meters to go, 100 meters, almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there, done. Hey you mob, Jack here, and I've actually just finished up with getting home from Wurundjeri Country up in Ballarat after supporting Sissy in her home-based event too. So third IMP workshop is done and dusted too, and I again was lucky enough to run on beautiful Wurundjeri Country yesterday to complete my 25k home-based event too. So didn't know what to expect going into it, felt pretty prepared having a longer taper period than previous workshops, only because of the shin problems I was having. Luckily had that strapped up and ready to go the day prior at my physio, and felt really good going into it. I think my biggest worry was having to run the entire thing alone, but luckily I had one of the students I've been supporting over at the university come in clutch and actually ride the entire journey with me too. So overall, I stuck with Mary Creek as the chosen course for my 25, expecting and knowing that there would be a lot of elevation and hills to deal with, but knew that this was a challenge that I wanted to put out to myself and to see if all the block 3 training actually held me up in good stead too. First thing I noticed into the first 5Ks or so was I was running at a very fast pace, and I think at that initial stage was averaging around 5-minute kilometers as well, and compared to my long run speeds was a noticeable tick up, and even noticed that in my heart rate too. While I did feel very comfortable going that pace, I did feel like my breathing rate wasn't quite there, and not really struggled, but just found I couldn't really get into a good breathing rhythm as such to feel comfortable whilst running too. And I feel like it was just because I was running at that higher intensity. We got into the 8K mark, where I had my first gel about 45 minutes in, and was starting to take that down, noticing, okay, that was going pretty smoothly, still keeping a relatively quick pace compared to normal, but all of a sudden it just took one last little slurp and just had to stop and spew for the next minute and a half too. So lost quite a lot of time on my 8K there, but overall I think it was just that increase in intensity that I was running at that may have caused it, and just wasn't able to keep the entire gel down luckily. I did luckily have some power rate in one of my drink pouches, so that actually helped me get some carbs in whilst I technically missed on taking a full gel in the first bit of the race. Felt relatively comfortable through 10k, 15k, and even up to the 18k mark, and it was only really when hitting the 22 kilometer mark where I noticed, okay, my body was really starting to feel it, and I was getting more into my mind and battling some of those demons. That continued on as I passed all my friends that were cheering me on at the finish line, only to realize I didn't quite run the course that I mapped out for myself correctly and actually turned a kilometer early. So I actually had 2 kilometers left to do running past my friends, which caused me to then come back, run past them, and then turn back again to finally finish my 25Ks. But overall, I managed to get it done. I felt like I did go out pretty hard at the start and wasn't quite able to empty my bucket the correct way too. I know that, I think overall my bucket was completely empty, but knowing that I really, compared to my half marathon where I knew I emptied the bucket gradually, didn't quite accomplish that this time. And I feel like the throw up at the 8k mark kind of hindered my performance, but we live and we learn, and I think that's a valuable lesson that I'm going to take into my next lot of training and really working at how I fuel my body going into it too. I also wanted to give a big shout out to IMP grad member Lena for being there to set me off from the start too, and to come around at the 8k mark and even at the 11.5k mark again, just to check in and support me. I really appreciate all your support through this whole, Lena, and yeah, you just very much appreciated by me too, and thank you for everything over this weekend too. Another shout out to my fellow IMP Squad member Sissy as well. Thank you, my sister, for traveling all the way down from Ballarat to come and join me for my event on Saturday. It's been a real blessing, and I was just so privileged to get to come up to celebrate yours. And I'll quickly show that clip, me at the airport waiting to pick up Sheena. So I'm actually just in the car waiting to pick up Sheena to surprise Sissy for her triathlon today. So sorry, Sissy, now that you see this and now that you've seen Sheena, that we could only make it to the last part of your event. Yeah, delayed flights, Jetstar, you know, all that stuff with travel, but yeah, looking forward to picking Sheena up soon. And how can I forget the moment that you actually got to see Sheena when you crossed your finishing line for your 5k. Lastly, I just wanted to give a big shout out to all my fellow IMP Squad members that ran this weekend. You all did such incredible jobs out in your own communities, and it really inspired me to continue pushing through. You know, we've only really got 2 blocks left of this program, and UMOB really got me inspired to really just give the last 2 blocks my all, and just wanting to do UMOB proud as well. Another big shout out to brother Jimmy, who unfortunately isn't able to finish out the rest of the journey with us too, but I know that we'll be there to support you with open arms when you do get that opportunity to run your international marathon. So do feel free to reach out to any of us too for support, and you know, we'll all be taking you under our arms and in our hearts as we run these next few blocks, as well as those next couple milestone events too. Lastly, just wanted to say a big shout out to you, Mob, and just the running community in general. I think it's been another weekend of just realizing how blessed I am to live the life that I do and to have the support network that I do around me, and yeah, just really taking that away into my next block of training and knowing that the times are going to get tough, but if I look around me, I'm set up for success too, and I think it's a real happy moment that I found myself in this weekend. I think another lesson that I took was being around like-minded people who shared the same passion, and obviously running was not quite a passion of mine towards the start of the year, but it's slowly becoming more of a passion. And yeah, it was a real blessing to also share the rest of the day with our squad physio Sheena, getting to just have a yarn with her and just talk all things running, and just getting to hear like advice and expertise from such an amazing and incredible physio too. That's all for my 25k home base run. I'll leave up a little shot of the course that I ran, as well as a little breakdown in my splits, and you can see where I kind of fell off in the 8k mark there too, but I'll leave that up for you mob to have a look at in more detail, and I'll leave a link to the course on Strava down in the description below if you're wanting to check it out a bit further. Anyway, it is now recovery week coming up, and my last week before starting a new job too, so I will see you mob in a very different world next week as we get into block 4 of the Indigenous Marathon Project. Catch up.